Welcome to Behind the Legends. Picture this. You're in 17th century Rome, a city of, breathtaking art and this really rigid social order. On a noblewoman's vanity table, next to her perfumes and powders, sits this small, ornate vial. It's labeled Manna of St. Nicholas, a blessed oil. But this vial contains no miracle. It holds a deadly secret.
Oh?
It was Aqua Tofana, probably the most notorious poison of the Baroque era. The name sounds elegant, but its purpose was, anything but.
Right.
It was a slow-acting concoction of arsenic and lead, so perfectly colorless, odorless, and tasteless that a few drops in, say, a glass of wine or a bowl of soup would go completely unnoticed. And that was its deadly genius. It didn't kill instantly. The victim would get sick over several days, symptoms like nausea, weakness, body aches that perfectly mimicked the deadly fevers and dysentery so common back then. So the death appeared tragic, but natural. No one suspected a thing.
But the story of Aqua Tofana isn't just about chemistry.
Yeah.
It's about the society that created a market for it. For women in 17th century Italy, life was a gilded cage at best and a brutal prison at worst.
Right.
They were property of their fathers until they became the property of their husbands. Divorce was impossible. An abusive, cruel, or unfaithful husband was a life sentence.
A life sentence, unless you could find a way to end it. And this is where the story shifts from just a simple poison to this sophisticated criminal enterprise.
Wow.
The creator, a mysterious Sicilian woman named Giulia Tofana, she established what you can only call a whisper network, an underground railroad for unhappy wives.
So it was a business run by women for women. Giulia wasn't just a chemist. She was a brilliant clandestine CEO. Her network had a midwife, Giovanna de Grandis, who could reach women in poorer quarters, and even fortune tellers using their mystical rap as a cover. And the business was eventually inherited by her stepdaughter, Girolamo Spara, who is a respected astrologer in Rome.
So just imagine that.
Imagine visiting your spiritual advisor to have your future read and walking out with the means to change it permanently.
The network was like a secret society, and it operated through the very channels that women controlled.
Such as?
Gossip at the market, confidences shared during childbirth, whispers in church. They leveraged that trust and community between women, and the business boomed.
Yeah.
At her confession, Girolamo Spara allegedly boasted, "I've given this liquid to more people than I've got hairs on my head."
So with hundreds of men dying across Rome, how did this go on for so long? And how did it all finally collapse? A conspiracy that big can't last forever. Legend has it the downfall began with just a moment of doubt.
Okay.
A client bought the poison to kill her husband, but as she served him a bowl of soup, she had the sudden crisis of conscience and begged him not to eat it.
Her weird behavior made him suspicious. He forced a confession out of her, and she named her supplier. That one thread was all the papal authorities needed.
And then?
Under direct orders from Pope Alexander VII, they launched this massive investigation called the Spana Prosecution. Girolamo Spara, the cool-headed astrologer, was arrested. And despite her intelligence and denying it at first, she and 4 of her key associates were tortured, forced to confess, and publicly hung in Rome's Campano de Fiori in 1659.
Wow.
And the scandal was, it was immense.
It's a story that leaves you with such an unsettling question. These women were, by definition, serial killers operating for profit.
Totally.
They sold death in a bottle. And yet their clients were desperate, powerless people with no legal recourse. You can't condone murder, but it's hard not to understand the desperation that fueled it all.
They were a dark reflection of the society they lived in.
Exactly.
A society so oppressive that it made widows out of wives, and murderers out of healers and fortune tellers. They were both predators and, in a really twisted sense, saviors. That's all the time we have for today. Now, here's a question we'd like you to think about. When a system denies people all legitimate avenues for justice and freedom, where does the greater evil lie? In the extreme measures taken by those trying to escape it, or in the system that created their desperation in the